On this week's Cars.com's On the Road, get some quick tips on how to handle driving in different conditions. Know what you need in an emergency kit during this winter driving season. And get the latest news on the Chevy Volt battery situation. All this and more. Keep your hands inside the vehicle because the show's about to start.
This time of year where we're kind of in transition between winter and spring, there's a tendency to think it's spring, get spring fever, and drive like it's better weather, but it's actually still wintertime driving. We have the bad weather, the bad conditions, the limited sight lines, the snow plows, the snow on the windshield, the ice on the windshield. All of those things contribute to making driving more difficult. Let's say you're driving down the road and the car unexpectedly goes into a slide. There is black ice, you've encountered some snow. We've all heard the steer into the skid if the car should start to slide. I'm not quite certain what that means, steer into the skid. So what we like to say is steer in the direction you want the car to go. Maintain your path of travel. If the front end of the car starts to slide, that's a condition called understeer. The first reaction of a driver is the correct reaction, which is to take your foot off the gas. With the front wheels sliding, putting some weight back onto the front of the car will help that regain grip. Now, if the back end of the car starts to slide, that's a condition called oversteer. That's a little more difficult to maintain and control, but certainly that's where you would be steering in the direction you want the car to go. Don't look at what you're trying to avoid, look at where you want the car to go. One thing to keep in mind, though, is all of the conditions are really dependent upon visibility. One of the more challenging environments to drive in is nighttime. It happens every day. We expect it. But we're still limited in our visibility to how far our headlights can reach. During the daytime, virtually unlimited visibility, only obstructed by buildings or trees. But at nighttime, we can only see as far as our headlights. And if we compound that with rain or snow or sleet falling, the visibility is reduced even more. And since over 90% of our driving decisions are based upon what we see, if our visibility is compromised, then our driving decisions are compromised as well. And certainly today's cars are much safer than they've ever been, but that can also breed a little bit of complacency in the drivers. It's still a vehicle, still a machine that only does what we tell it to do, and the car is only as smart as we are behind the wheel.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff with On the Road. I've been checking out apps I wanted to show you. It's from Cars.com. It's a free download from the App Store. The reason why you're going to want to check out this app is because of the power that it puts in the palm of your hand. The tools that it comes with, it allows you payment calculators, Kelley Blue Book, new car pricing, all while you're out car shopping. Speaking of car shopping, you can do searches on here too. You can do searches for the kind of model that you're looking for. You can do searches by what's nearby. Let's just say you happen to be looking for a Toyota. I happen to love Toyota Corollas. So right here, you type in Toyota, you punch in Corolla. I want to check out all the ones that are near me. Boom, search for cars, instantly does a search, checks out all the dealerships that are nearby, looks for the Corolla for you. The Cars.com iPhone app, free from the App Store. Check it out, download it. It's a free download. Put it on your iPhone now.
Hi, I'm Mike Hanley with Cars.com. In the redesigned 2012 Passat, maybe from German automaker Volkswagen, but it's been designed for Americans, priced for Americans, and it's also built in America, which all adds up to a family sedan that should have a lot of appeal for American shoppers. One of the things Volkswagen did to make the Passat more appealing to American shoppers is they made it bigger. It's 4 inches longer. Now it's about the size overall as a Ford Fusion midsize sedan, but it has a much more understated look than some of the new models out there like the Hyundai Sonata that it competes against. But I think it's a clean, elegant design that should wear well over time, though it does look a lot like a larger version of Volkswagen's Jetta compact car. Volkswagen's tried to hit all the bases with the Passat's engine offerings because it comes with something for those that are value-minded, efficiency-minded, or who like horsepower. For starters, there's the base 2.5-liter inline 5-cylinder engine that goes in the model that starts at just under $20,000, but you can step up to a diesel Passat if you're really looking for efficiency. It's rated at 31 miles per gallon city or up to 43 miles per gallon on the highway, which is impressive in a car this big. Or if you're really looking for power, you can get the 3.6 liter V6 engine. It's rated at 280 horsepower. When Volkswagen redesigned its Jetta sedan, people were critical of its cabin, which didn't seem to have as high of quality as the outgoing model. But with the redesigned Passat, it's become much more affordable overall, but it still retains that premium interior that you expect from Volkswagen. So they've done a nicer job here, hiding where they've had to cut costs. It still has a nice looking dash layout, and it comes with standard features like dual zone automatic air conditioning and Bluetooth that users are going to appreciate. One of the benefits of the Passat's increased exterior size is its roomier cabin, especially in the back seat. Now, even though it's similar to a Ford Fusion on the outside, its wheelbase is 3 inches longer, and that translates to noticeably roomier backseat legroom. I have the front seat adjusted for me. I'm 6'1", and I still have a couple inches of legroom here to spare. So this is really a car that can be comfortable enough for taller people to take a long road trip in. The Passat's cavernous cabin doesn't come at the expense of cargo room, as the trunk measures 15.9 cubic feet, which is competitive for the mid-size class. What I like about the space is that it's pretty rectangular and square. There aren't a lot of intrusions to catch any luggage. And they also come standard with a 60-40 split folding back seat if you need even more space. There are a lot of quality cars in the family sedan segment, and the redesigned Passat takes on industry heavyweights like the Toyota Camry and the Honda Accord. But what this car gives Volkswagen that it hasn't had in a long time is a competitively priced entrant in the segment. And I think when you look at the number of engines that are offered, the efficiency they offer, the roomy interior, and the premium amenities, I think this car is well positioned to take on those others.
With perfect timing, Chevrolet introduces the new Motoramic Chevrolet. What's new? Everything. New show car styling, 3 new drives, new synchro-mesh transmission, improved super smooth power glide, or new touchdown overdrive. A revolutionary new ride, a new high-level ventilation system for greater comfort, and new 4-fender visibility. And power, sensational performance and economy with the new Chevrolet. Turbo Fire V8 engines and 2 new Blue Flame 6s. It's the new Motoramic Chevrolet, more than a new car, a new concept of low-cost motoring.
You know, I'm just going over the owner's manual for this particular car. Why? Because if you followed all the steps in the owner's manual, the chances are your car is ready for winter. Still, there are some things that you'd want to consider even if you followed the book by heart. Let's start with the tires. You want to make sure that your tires are ready for winter weather, and start with the tire inflation. Interestingly enough, as the outside temperature drops, so does the tire pressure automatically, so check them regularly. You also want to make sure that you have at least this symbol on the side of the tire, the letters M and S. It stands for mud and snow. If you don't have this on the side of the tire, you don't have an all-season radial, in which case you definitely want to get something appropriate on the car before the first snow flies. Performance tires do very, very poorly in the wintertime. One other thought about tires. If you drive a lot in the winter and you can't wait for the snowplow to come through your neighborhood after a snowstorm, or if you're a skier and you go up to ski country all the time, you need snow tires, 4 of them, 1 at each corner of the car for safe driving in the wintertime. Even if you've done everything in the manual, you still want to look under the hood of the car and start with engine coolant. Make sure you have enough and that it will protect your car all the way down to 34 below zero. Check for windshield washer fluid too. You're going to need enough this winter. And while you're under the hood, take a look at the battery. It should be tightly mounted and the connection should be solid and clean for good winter starts. There are more things that you should carry in your car too, but I'll get to those a little bit later on in the program.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Beauregard.
And I'm Patrick Olson, and here's the news this week from Cars.com.
When you think of expensive cars, which automaker comes to mind? Rolls-Royce? Bentley? If that's your guess, then the Occupy protesters probably aren't complaining about you. For members of the 1%, or probably the 0.1% in this case, there's an even more exclusive list of rides with price tags nearly as long as their nameplates. Most vehicles in this super pack have gull-wing doors, carry more than 1,000 ponies under the hood, and can accelerate from 0 to 60 in fewer than 3 seconds. Even if you have the money to purchase one of these puppies, some of the models are available only if the automaker invites you to purchase one, like the Ferrari 599XX. Coming in at number 5 is the Aston Martin 177 at $1.4 million. At number 4 is the Koenigsegg Agera R at $1.7 million. Number 3 is the Zenvo STI at $1.8 million. Number 2 is the Ferrari 599XX at $2 million. And coming in at number 1 is the Bugatti Veyron Supersport at $2.6 million.
In the wake of fires breaking out after 3 federal crash tests, GM is taking steps to reassure the owners of Chevy Volts. CEO Dan Ackerson told the Associated Press that, if necessary, GM will recall every Volt it has ever made to fix the battery problem. On top of that, he said GM is willing to buy back Volts from owners who are nervous about the possibility of a fire in the event of a crash. Fires have occurred in 1 Volt and 2 separate battery packs after crash tests by the federal government. However, those fires happened days and weeks after the crash tests were performed. GM had already offered all Volt owners a loaner vehicle if they felt unsafe, and a company spokesman told the AP that the automaker doesn't expect many owners to take it up on the buyback program. Indeed, according to CNET, only 24 owners have taken GM up on the offer out of more than 6,000 owners.
Speaking of safety concerns, focus has shifted to keyless ignitions. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is proposing a rule that would make all keyless ignition systems operate in the same manner. The safety enhancement would make turning off the engine easier in an emergency situation, according to the proposal. The rule would require all keyless ignition systems to be able to turn off the engine regardless of the position the gear selector is in. Under the new rule, holding the button for half a second would stop the engine.
According to J.D. Power, more Americans are moving out of the once popular midsize category into smaller cars.
Compact and smaller cars are booming in popularity. They could become the best-selling vehicle category by year's end.
While midsize cars are still up 7.5% for the year, small cars are up nearly twice that at 14.3%.
In 2011, some small car models have topped the monthly bestsellers list.
The Toyota Corolla is number 1 in January, and the Chevy Cruze topped the list in June for passenger cars.
Anyone who's driven the BMW 6 Series Coupe or convertible will tell you that the car was lacking neither style nor power. Nevertheless, for 2012, in a major redo, BMW has added to both style and horsepower. The result is a new 6 Series that is larger, sleeker, and definitely has more visual appeal. The wheelbase has been stretched by 3 inches. Overall length and width are also up. 2 body styles are offered, a coupe and this fabric top convertible that offers exceptional sound abatement and insulation from temperature extremes when the top is raised. Lowering the top takes just seconds and can be done at speeds up to 25 miles per hour. In addition, the driver can raise the rear window with the top down to serve as a wind deflector, or the rear window can go down with the top up for more ventilation. The standard engine is a 4.4-liter V8, and it's turbocharged, though you'd never know it from the instant throttle response. Ratings are 400 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. Performance is effortless and blazingly fast. 0 to 60 takes just 4.9 seconds. Buyers have their choice of a new 8-speed automatic or 6-speed manual transmission. The ride is usually firm but absorbent, and the body structure is exceptionally solid. However, some sharp bumps we encountered with this car, equipped with the 20-inch performance tires, hammered their way into the passenger cabin. The shocks are electronically controlled, and the driver has a choice of ride and handling characteristics. The front seats can be power adjusted 20 ways, according to BMW. We lost count, so we'll take BMW's word for it. The seats are low, which may hinder entry for some people, but once in, everyone should find them all day comfortable. BMW boasts that they've added legroom to the 2-passenger rear seat, but it's hard to tell. The back seat is best reserved for very small children, pets, and parcels. Legroom is practically non-existent with the front seat set for 6-footers. Though the BMW 650i is big on the outside, it's not so big inside. Driving this new 650i is a treat. This is no sports car, it's simply too big and heavy, but it is a great grand tourer with excellent steering feel, great balance and grip in turns, and very strong brakes. We've talked about tires and what you should check under the hood of your car to get ready for winter travel. Now let's talk about what you should put in the other end of your car. And we're going to start with a shovel. You never know when a snowstorm might come up unexpectedly. For the same reason, you want a traction medium, such as sand. You can carry it in a container in the trunk of your car. Then there's the old standby jumper cables. These jumper cables are special because you don't have to worry about polarity. The black box makes sure automatically that you're connecting positive to positive and negative to negative. But if you have standard jumper cables and you're working at night, you're going to need a flashlight. And if the flashlight's been in your glove box for a while, by all means, check to make sure that the batteries are still good. They may not be. In addition to that, you also, just in case you get stuck, want to make sure that you carry some non-perishable food items. And of course, a cell phone with a fully charged battery is also important. Finally, just in case you do get stuck for a while, you want something warm that you can wear. It can make all the difference in the world. And you also want to make sure that your fuel, you have at least half a tank of gas with you at all times. That way, if you really do get stuck in a snowdrift for a while, you can run the engine for 15 or 20 minutes every hour and keep warm. It could make all the difference to your wintertime driving safety.
Hi, I'm Joe Weisenfelder with Cars.com. Have you heard of the Honda Civic? It was redesigned for 2012. That's what we have here. Let's see how they did. Now, the outgoing Civic is still a very good car. It has aged well for something that hasn't been redesigned in many years. So when it came time to redesign it, Honda didn't go too far. The front end looks pretty similar. Some people say a little bland, but bear in mind that this is the HF version. It's a high efficiency version, and because of that, the bumper is much smoother. There's not a lot of detail. That's for aerodynamics. The rear end is where they start to lose me, though. The car used to have a very distinctive Civic look to it. Now, cover this up and this could be anything. The seats, manual seat height adjustment for the driver. Now, the materials are actually updated from what they were in the previous generation. They're better, but I do think that they're going to look outdated pretty soon, within a year or so. Other than that, really comfortable seats. We also like the simplicity of design. Things like the simple radio here in this model and the ventilation controls, very easy to tell how to use at a glance. Some people say that the quality has actually taken a step backward here in the 2012. There are a lot of hard surfaces. Now, we're not feeling the car the whole time we're driving, but they also don't look so great either. There's this kind of sparkly gray plastic here, strange mix of materials. There used to be a woven headliner, which is a kind of a richer approach. Now it's this fuzzy stuff. It's a little bit like what we used to call mouse fur. Overall, if not a step back, certainly not a step forward at a time when the industry is getting much, much nicer in a compact car. In terms of backseat space, the Civic, it's among the best in this segment. I've got the driver's seat all the way back. My knees are clear, raised a bit. One of the things we like a lot is the floor is almost perfectly flat. There's no big hump in the center, so that makes the center seat a lot more usable. At 12.5 cubic feet of volume, the trunk is pretty good. It's not particularly large for this class. A couple things I noticed though. The seat in this trim level is a one-piece folding seat. It's not split 60-40. Some cars in this segment do offer that standard. Also, a couple other signs of cost cutting. There's no treatment here, the underside of the trunk lid on the lower trim levels, and the same is true for the underside of the hood. What does that do? It can lead to a little bit more noise. It certainly doesn't look as good. Once again, if you look at some of the other vehicles in this class, they all come a lot more finished than this. One improvement that could save you money is the mileage is up to 39 miles per gallon highway with the automatic, over 36 in the previous generation. Actually, this HF is up to 41 miles per gallon on the highway, and if you want more than that, there's a Civic Hybrid too. As I said, still a good car, but there's never been a better time to cross-shop competitors if you're looking in this class. Look at the Chevy, look at the Hyundai, look at the Ford, maybe even look beyond that.
Well, here we are, and there's the car. The key word this year, Groucho, is style. Sleek, taut, modern style. This new DeSoto is mighty fast-looking, eager and new and different. Designers talk about its taut, surging feel and look of power. But to you and me, it just looks like it wants to get out and travel. This is the smartest DeSoto we have ever built. Longer, lower, and comfortably wider. Added inches give the car a long, slim, modern style that's new and different on the American scene. Take a look at the new, smooth slope of the low hood. The big, graceful new grille, headlights, bumpers. Perfect examples of modern, smart style. Huge glass areas, front and rear. Of course, this year again, DeSoto offers you your choice of all full power assist features. And hang on. This year, for the first time, DeSoto offers you two great V8 models. The mighty Fire Dome V8, now raised to a full 185 horsepower and at a completely new low price. And the super-powered Fireflight V8, 200 horsepower worth of flashing automobile. Fire Dome or Fireflight, DeSoto's really got it this year. See the 1955 DeSoto tomorrow at your DeSoto Plymouth dealer.